and and it was messed up, bro. Let's just start from the beginning. I really didn't watch that
What is
match.
going on, guys? It is
I was trying to get
WrestleMania
on my
here,
phone.
back with some more news. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of the Day 1 edition of the Red Brand, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including more accusations against Chris Jericho, Rikishi responds to The Rock, Roman Reigns also responds to The Rock, a scary injury on Raw, Raquel Rodriguez reveals health problems, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new website, WrestleMania.com. Now as always we won't recap the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always we start off with the good as number 1, always good to see the people's champ. The WWE delivered on its promise to bring back a former WWE champion as The Rock showed up to deal with Jinder Mahal before sending a shockwave through the wrestling world when he teased a match against Roman Reigns by saying he's going out to eat, asking the fans if he should take a seat in the booth, at the bar, or at the head of the table. Number 2, Jinder Mahal makes the best of his opportunity. Now the swerve was excellent. Jinder Mahal angered fans by implying that he was a big surprise, laying into them with his anti-American rhetoric. We feel that Jinder did an incredible job. He nailed it with the promo and gave The Rock a great setup. Last night's appearance showed he has the potential to do more, and hopefully the WWE will make a resolution to rehabilitate the modern-day Maharaja. Number 3, Awesome Truth Reunion. An Awesome Truth Reunion? Well, more please. Fans have still have fond memories of The Miz and R-Truth's original run, and last night's reunion was pure fun. The WWE could have phoned it in by merely capitalizing on a nostalgia, but it didn't, putting both superstars into an entertaining match against the Judgment Day's JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio, and also giving The Miz and Truth time to have fun on the microphone. Number 4, Ivy impresses. Ivy Nels is definitely a talent to watch. That's the impression the WWE Universe conveyed with her performance against Rhea Ripley as she surprised the Eradicator with a strong outing. The match also furthered the subtle story of Ripley growing overconfident with herself, a situation that is likely going to get her into trouble when she faces an experienced opponent. And a massive main event. Day 1 ended on a magnificent note with Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre fighting tooth and claw over the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins has perfected the must-see main event where he defends his World Championship and created the illusion that last night will be the night he drops the title. Unlike Roman Reigns, Rollins' run as champion hasn't grown old, particularly because he's been champ less than a year, but more importantly, because his matches' endings aren't convoluted. McIntyre looked terrific as always, and he not only dealt with Rollins, but with Damian Priest's attempted cash-in. But that was a good. What about the bad? As number 1, Nia Jax's push continues. And Nia Jax's push continued last night with an impressive win over Becky Lynch, but once again, we have to ask, what's the WWE's endgame? Are we being too cynical and thinking The Rock's presence has something to do with her cousin getting a monster push? Or does the WWE truly believe there's money to be made by elevating Nia Jax to the top, possibly for a match against Rhea Ripley? Whatever the case, it seems like a waste of time and a reminder that WWE's trouble building new female talent in the singles division. And number 2, Cody's nightmare. Is Cody Rhodes going to be left out in the cold if the WWE books Roman Reigns versus The Rock? Well, that's a legit question. Many fans believe that the American Nightmare would get a WrestleMania rematch against Roman Reigns. Now, some fans feel Cody's rematch will have to wait, but there may be hope, as fans know the WWE has Elimination Chamber PLE booked in Perth, Australia, and there's already speculation that The Rock versus Roman could happen in Perth. But this could actually make more sense rather than being in the bad. The only question is, will WWE do this? Now, there was nothing downright ugly as the WWE kicked off 2024 with a special edition of Raw that indeed felt special, both with some exciting matches and a special appearance from The Rock. The WWE is really hyping this week's show, so it'll be interesting to see what other developments play out as the WWE begins the build for the Royal Rumble. What do you guys think of the Day 1 edition of Raw? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. At first, we looked at more accusations leveled against Chris Jericho. On top of today's news, more accusations are being leveled against AEW star Chris Jericho that the wrestling veteran has engaged in inappropriate behavior towards women. Former WWE superstar Rene Dupree recently discussed the situation on his Cafe de Rene podcast, alleging, "Someone asked me if I ever heard any rumors about Jericho and women. I told when I first broke out into the business, the indie guys from Manitoba told me, yeah, Jericho's rep was that he tries to F with your girlfriend. He's notorious for F other guys' girlfriends, which at one point was a sin. You stay away from other guys' wives and girlfriends." It's an unwritten rule in wrestling that wrestlers don't have relationships with other wrestlers' significant others, so this in itself is a bold accusation. As Dupree noted, nothing brings more animosity into a locker room than when you're fooling around with someone else's significant other. Does it surprise me that he does that? No, he was always an asshole to me for no reason. At this point, it's unknown whether these accusations have any merit or are being made by individuals with an axe to grind against Jericho. It's unknown whether Jericho will address them, and for now, AEW President Tony Khan has remained silent about them, other than to tell the media at the post-World's End media scrum that AEW has an open-door policy for anyone who has complaints, and that I can't speak to unsourced rumors. I spoke earlier and spoke about the policy we have in place, and I believe that AEW is the safest company in the world.
At FanDuel, we speak hockey. That's why we give you more ways to bet on the NHL, like betting on a clapper to light the lamp. Bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Continue monitoring this story and present the story with understanding that these are still accusations and Jericho is presumed innocent until proven otherwise. Next up, Rikishi responds to The Rock. Is The Rock looking for a match against Roman Reigns? While that remains to be seen, the WWE Hall of Famer is responding to the People's Champion rhetorical question about sitting at the head of the table. Rikishi tweeted a video of the table with multiple people sitting on two sides, but no one sitting at the head. Have a seat. Now what's the problem? Rikishi wasn't the only person who responded to The Rock's message, as Roman Reigns responded by simply posting a laughing emoji. Next up, is Dragon Lee missing New Year's Evil? A bad news for Dragon Lee fans, as the North American champion won't be able to make it at NXT's New Year's Evil special. It's been reported that this is down to visa issues. The wrestling world has many international stars, and unfortunately, visa issues are bound to come up, even under the best of circumstances. Next up, Sami Zayn's brutal injury. Bad news for Sami Zayn is the former Undisputed Tag Team Champion was recently busted open at the 29th December live event and required 15 staples to close up the cut to his head. Sami suffered the injury during a last man standing match against Finn Balor. We send our best wishes for Sami for a speedy recovery. Next up, a scary injury last night. Speaking of injuries, Giovanni Vinci had a scary moment during his and Ludwig Kaiser's match against Jey Uso and Kofi Kingston. Wrestling Inc. detailed what happened, saying during the match, Kingston landed a dropkick when Vinci jumped from the second rope and caught the Imperium star flush in the face. The referee halted the match, following which the WWE doctor rushed in and called off the match, and Kingston and Uso were declared the winners. Thankfully, it seems that Giovanni appears to be okay and updated fans via X that he's doing fine. Next up, Raquel Rodriguez reveals health problems. Raquel Rodriguez has been dealing with some health problems, which is why the WWE Universe hasn't seen her of late. She updated fans via Instagram saying,
"What's up guys, happy new year." So long story short, last year I posted a video about being a WWE superstar with eczema, and in the month of December it got progressively worse, and I have been diagnosed with something called mast cell activation syndrome. Basically, I was red, swollen, there was a lot happening in this area physically. It kept me from doing the things that I love, like traveling, going to the gym, and wrestling, and I also didn't want to be on camera. I didn't want to look in the mirror, and I understand that all of those things can mess with someone both emotionally and mentally, but thank God I moved back to Texas when I did, because I had the best support system in the world during this time, which is my family.
Rodriguez thanked her family and encouraged anyone dealing with medical problems during the holidays to know that they are not alone. Raquel asked fans to show kindness to each other as the new year begins, and she says she's looking forward to what the new year brings her. We're wishing her all the best. Next up, R-Truth's tribute to Mr. WrestleMania. Last night's match between the Awesome Truth team of The Miz and R-Truth saw a throwback moment when R-Truth told JD McDonough, "I'm sorry, I love you," before socking JD McDonough. Truth's hilarious homage to WrestleMania 24's Shawn Michaels vs. Ric Flair match, where the Heartbreak Kid uttered those famous words to Flair before flattening him with a super kick and retiring him, was a reminder of just how good Truth is. And finally, Kurt Angle talks a WWE return. Last but not least, Kurt Angle has been dealing with the physical fallout from years of wrestling. However, that doesn't mean he's done with the WWE. He recently appeared on Steel City Comic Fan and told fans, "Yeah, I'll talk all day and night, but I'm not going to wrestle. I'm 55 going on 80. WWE has utilized me. Last year I did a segment in Pittsburgh where I had a milk truck in the arena and I sprayed down Chad Gable and Otis with milk. That was a remake of what I did against Steve Austin in 2001. They also had a birthday celebration for me." Angle elaborated on what his business relationship with the WWE is though. "I do certain events with them, I'm still signed with them. I have a contract with WWE, I'm sure they're going to possibly use me for something at WrestleMania or Royal Rumble or something. They always come up with something. I'll eventually do something crazy with WWE and I'm sure I will in the future." While Kurt won't be wrestling, it sounds like fans can count on seeing him when they least expect it. But there you have it, folks, our look at Raw, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.
Alright. Thank y'all for watching. I'm gonna see y'all later on today. That'll be our 5 episodes. I don't know what I keep clicking that makes that come up. I think I'm clicking like a middle button or whatever. But